द्वैताद्वैत महामोह सर्वरीक्षपणक्षमः भास्वानिव जयत्येको गणेशो दूतरीयुतः प्रतिभायाः परोल्लासो निशाकर इवापरः दूतीयुक्तः स जयतु बटुकस्ताण्डवान्वितः। ओम शांति शांति शांति। Welcome everyone. The topic for my presentation is the promise of Tantra. Before I start, let me clarify that my presentation will be somewhere between an academic one and something which is practical and experiential. I come from a culture where Tantra is a living subject. It's a living practice. It is intertwined in the day-to-day fabric of life. It may sound a little startling to you, but let me share with you one experience that I have, which I have seen, which I have witnessed when I was still quite young. That will help you understand what kind of promise Tantra makes and how Tantra delivers that promise. This particular incident that I will share with you will help you understand the dynamics of Tantra, the power hidden in Tantra, and how we can awaken that power to experience the fullness of ourselves and the reality that is all around us and the reality that is in us. It happened in 1972. I had just joined my undergraduate at the University of Allahabad in India, and I was very fortunate to be also studying with one of the greatest adepts of India who lived in Allahabad. After the university classes, I used to visit him. And by the way, his name is Swami Sadananda, very, very famous person. So many, the justice of Allahabad High Court, very many professors and laymen alike, people used to visit him. So one day, I visited him. It was in late afternoon, and I was after him for months and months to teach me something. And he kept inspiring me to practice, quote, Gayatri mantra. But I was interested more in Tantra, and I did not know the relationship between mantra and yantra and mandala and Tantra and Tantric rituals. And somehow, due to my upbringing, I was convinced that Gayatri mantra has nothing to do with Tantric practices. So each time he inspired me to practice Gayatri mantra, I wasn't very excited about it. So one afternoon when I visited him, and as soon as I arrived at his place, of course he was sitting under a tree on a wooden cart. Even when I was still a little bit away from his place, he called me out. Arey, come in Rajmani, come in, come in. Do you see these people? This young man sitting here? He was afraid of dying. So I laughed. I said, Swamiji, what is so new about it? Anybody in the world will be afraid of dying. He said, no, 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 no. He had a dream. And in his dream, he died. So he came to me and he told me that so far all of his dreams have come true. So I asked Swamiji, who is this man? Because that man was hardly, almost same age as I was, 20, 22 years old, 21 years old. So that young man's father introduced this young man to me, that he is an engineering student at one of the engineering college called Motilal Nehru Engineering College, not too far away from this Swami's ashram. So Swamiji, of course, obviously, he did not die, he is still alive. So what happened? I said, yeah, so I told him, don't worry. And when he did not listen to me and didn't believe me, then I took him and I told him, come, I will invite your death face to face, and then you can talk to your death itself and find out that you are not going to die. I said, how is it possible? So, and everybody nodded, yes, yes, yes. And my death came right face to face, and I asked the death, and death said, no, you are not going to die. I didn't believe any of that stuff. How can anybody talk to death? Death is not an individual person sitting somewhere. But they were very respectful to Swami, and it looked like they really believe in all that thing. So, of course, after that, 5-10 minutes later, everybody left. So I said, Swamiji, what did you do? How do you mean that you invoked his death and death came, and then this person talked to the death and found out all the answers? He said, in fact, what I did was I invoked Chaya Purusa. And I had read in the books. Chaya Purusa is a very, very unique practice of Tantra. With the help of some tantric practices, tantric yogis are able to breathe life in their own shadow. So Chaya means shadow. And the shadow becomes more and more real, and then at some point the shadow is almost as kind of live as we are. I was lit. I said, wow, I've been reading about Chaya Purusa in the books, but I never thought that it can really happen. So I said, Swamiji, always you say that you love me very much, but look here, I've been making rounds of your ashram for so many months and for so many years. And always you have been promising that one day you will teach me this vidya, this science, this knowledge, this practice, that practice, but you never teach me anything. And here people come and you show them miracles. So he said, hey, why do you want to see miracles? Why do you want to see magic? Why don't you yourself become magician? I said, I will become magician a little later, but first you show me the magic. He said, okay, come. So he took me on the banks of Ganga, which was just right next to his ashram. It was around 4 o'clock. The sun was around 4 hours away from setting, and the shadow was quite long. And he told me to face east direction, so that almost the shadow is, the sun is on my back, and thus the shadow, I was able to see the shadow. And so he told me that I should focus on the neck of my shadow. And of course, the thing is, when you are looking at the shadow and the sun is on your back, all you could see the profile of yourself in the shadow. He told me, before he guided me to focus and concentrate on the neck of my own shadow. He told me very soon something will happen. If you see a white profile of yourself emerging in the sky, and if that white profile of yourself keeps gaining more and more distinct nature of yourself, and when it comes close to you and it looks like exactly that's what you are, and if it demands that you should ask why you have invited, first thing, don't be afraid, don't get scared. Second, say that, tell the shadow that you do not want anything, and if the shadow demands further and tells you that it cannot just disappear without giving you something, then you tell the shadow to make this request to Swamiji, and Swamiji will make, and then the Swami will take care of this whole thing. Don't get involved in making any deal with the shadow. Everything looked absolutely bizarre and unbelievable. There was curiosity in me, but there was an absolute disbelief in it. But that's what happened. He told me to focus on the shadow. While focusing on the shadow, he told me that I should remember a particular mantra. That mantra in the scripture is called Mrita Sanjeevani Vidya. It's a particular variation, or let's say with few more mantras added to it. It is one of the mantras that goes along with very popular mantra known in the Tantric literature called Mahamrityunjaya mantra. So in my mind, I was remembering that mantra and focusing on the neck of the shadow. And after a while, then he said, when you do not see your shadow anymore, while in the middle of focusing your mind and eyes gazing on your shadow, on the neck of your shadow, when your entire shadow disappears and you do not see shadow anymore, then exactly then lift your head and look far in the horizon. As I did, I saw beautiful, exactly like the white version of this dark shadow. And then I kept gazing at that white profile, and that profile kept coming closer, closer, closer. First, there was a kind of thrill, wow. Then as the shadow started coming closer, and maybe still quite far away, maybe 100 meters away, 200 meters away, something like that, 500 feet away, I could see some of the characteristics similar to my face. Then exactly I saw the shadow with the same kind of kurta, the same kind of pajamas, same kind of body just coming. I was kind of getting scared. But I remembered that Swamiji told me that it will happen, and I also know that he's right next to me. Then however, that shadow came, and it looked like exactly another self of myself. Complete replica, completely identical to myself. That is when almost I was about to have nervous breakdown. And the shadow spoke in my own voice. Bolo kis liye bulaya? Tell me, why did you call me? As soon as I heard that word, I got so confused regarding where am I? Am I in this body or am in that body? Is that one is me or this one is me? It was just like my head will shatter, and I did not know which head is going to shatter, this one here or that one over there. It's like simultaneously I was experiencing my head shattering. And that is when I heard a voice from this great Tantric master who had invoked this experience, saying, ध्यान करो, याद करो, remember, In reality, you are neither this one nor that one. However, for time being, tell yourself that you are this and that one is your shadow, Chaya Purusa. When I heard the Swami telling me this thing, I became a little calm. Then I told the shadow that as guided by my teacher, my Gurudev, Swamiji, I invoked you. I have no specific reason for calling you, invoking you, inviting you to be here. The shadow said, as you know, मेरा दर्शन अमोघ है. My darshan, my vision is unfailing, infallible. I cannot go away without giving you something. Therefore, tell me, what should I give? What do you want to ask? Pose any question. So the Swami said something. इनको आप बताओ कि इनके जीवन में वह दिन कब आएगा जब इनके भोग और अपवर्ग का रास्ता साफ साफ प्रकट हो जाएगा. Tell me, in his life, when is that day coming when the path leading to his lasting fulfillment and ultimate freedom will become clear. The shadow, Chaya Purusa, gave me exact time, exact year, exact month, exact day. And after telling that, the shadow started moving exactly in the same order the way it had come. It kept moving back, 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 and finally it went into far deep in the horizon and disappeared.